Hi, welcome to the Ring and All of the Sports. My name is Leo Connors and I'm your host. And tonight I got a very special guest, professional wrestler Max Smashmaster. Max,
Leo,
thanks a lot for coming on.
thanks for having me.
No problem. It seems like Sonny's getting me all kinds of people though.
Oh,
He's my agent.
Yeah, he's my agent too.
He's your agent too? Nice. All right, let's get right into it. Max, where'd you grow up? I almost called you by your real name. Just now.
It's fine. You can call me by my real name.
That's all right. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so not far from here. I now live in Salem, New Hampshire.
Yep. All right. When did you first see pro wrestling?
Oh, God. This is one of the hardest questions because I don't know when I first saw it.
All right.
I know it always being there. My brother watched it, and he was like 6 years older than me, so I was perpetually in the sharpshooter or Boston Crab whenever the parents were at the grocery store,
Yeah.
things like that. And it was just always around. And,
Right.
And I can't tell you an exact first memory because I just always watched it.
Okay. So you said your brother was into it. Were any of your friends that you went to school with into it too?
Yeah, there was always, you kind of gravitate towards those people. Like
Right.
someone's sitting on the bus with like a wrestling magazine.
Yeah.
I'm going to be friends with you, So I always tried to have friends that liked wrestling because that's really the only thing I cared about. Like,
Right.
I'm not a sports guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wrestling. I just
Right.
love it.
So you're not excited for the Bruins that are going to the Stanley Cup Finals?
I'm excited to hear people not complain if they lose, if they win.
Right, right.
If they lose, then I have to listen to everyone complain all the time. It's the worst.
All right. Well, who were some of your favorites when you first started, figuring out you liked them?
So I was a Hulkamaniac.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
I was, young, and he was the hero. He was
Sure
my
was.
guy, and I was definitely Hulkamaniac. And then I remember vividly drawing a picture when I was in first grade, and they're like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I drew me as the Ultimate Warrior
Okay.
with the championship belt on the WrestleMania 6 cart. So I remember that he was definitely one of my guys. And then eventually, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, very fair weather fan. Wherever that belt went, that was my guy. And I'll go even because up until I started wrestling, it was like, then Jeff Hardy.
Yep.
Obviously Stone Cold, don't get me wrong. Stone
Right,
Cold
right.
The Rock. Jeff Hardy. And then I think my last favorite professional wrestler before I got in the business, and granted, I have favorite wrestlers all over now, like
Right.
Japan, whatever.
Yep.
But John Cena, when he started coming up, and even before he won the title, because I got into wrestling in 2004, he was my guy. He's
Right,
like,
right.
So fair weather fan. Followed those trends.
I like Cena too. It's so
I
funny
still
how
love
everybody.
Cena.
Yeah. How can you not?
How can you not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So how old were you when you realized you wanted to be a pro wrestler? Obviously, pretty young, right?
6 years old, I guess, was
Wow.
when I made that decision. I never wanted to do anything else.
Right.
Like I got good at other things
Yeah.
to supplement my pro wrestling habit. Yeah.
Okay. Who trained you?
Steve Bradley.
Steve Bradley. Okay. Who else was in the class?
Oh, we had a really great class. So the mainstays in the class: Scott Reed,
Yeah.
Brandon Locke. I'm gonna miss a million names. Brian Fury would come up. He would train there all the time.
Yep.
I know he was already trained right before. He
Right.
came to Steve's, but then Steve was really his trainer. And then Eddie Edwards would come in every once in a
okay.
while, and just so many people there.
Right.
And I could go through a list of names.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know after people see this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, why don't you mention me?" I was like, "Well, there's a million of you." So.
Right. Okay. So when did you start training with Steve? You said 2004.
Yeah, June 2nd, 2004.
Okay. So wow, coming up on a 15-year anniversary.
15-year anniversary.
Wow,
Yep.
that's a long time, man. Okay, how long were you there?
I was at Steve's until 2008 when I got out of college in 2006, and I'm sorry, not 2008. Around 2007 was the last time I went there. I
Right.
remember going there, and he passed away at the end of 2008. But yeah, around 2007 is when I got out of college, got a job, started, trying to get a career together so
Yeah.
that I could have some. I always knew I'd have to have something to fall back on if
Right.
wrestling didn't work out, which may have been my downfall, but I'll never know. So yeah, I was there until around 2007, but
Okay.
now I'm at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy.
Right.
I may be a trainer there, but I'm still a student. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, that's
absolutely.
how I feel.
Well, they say pro wrestlers, you could learn like that. Some people have told me that even though you've been in the business so long, you could learn something from a guy that's only been in the business 2 years.
Yeah, if you think you know everything about pro wrestling,
Right.
quit. If you think you know anything about or everything about any career, quit,
Right.
because you'll never know everything about
Yep.
anything. So
Right.
yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Right. So, what did you do after the school and WFA stopped running?
A lot of us were like lost puppies.
Right.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Steve was very sectioned off. We felt like this is where we work and this is what we do. And sometimes we were working 8 to 9 shows a month just for Steve. So
That's a lot.
almost every weekend we had
Right.
a double, well, not double shot, but like 2 shows in a weekend.
Right.
So we would do, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes we did Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There was one weekend we did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Wow.
which is crazy for
Yeah.
2006 is
Right.
when we did that. So we were working all the time. I didn't write them down, but I estimate that I had around 150 matches just for Steve.
Wow.
In
That's
a
lot.
2-year period.
Yeah.
Because I was just always there, always wrestling
Right.
on those shows. And I think every guy did because we were all booked on
Yeah.
every show. So after that, we were just, like I said, like lost puppies. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I tried to go to Chaotic, and it felt super clicky to me. I felt like,
Sonny said the same
yeah,
thing.
I felt like, and this is a different time there.
Yeah.
And we were the outcasts, you know?
Right.
Our show stopped running, so we went to the competition, and we
Yeah.
had talked so much about them, and I'm sure back and forth. And some guys had gone there, but yeah, I just never felt comfortable, and I couldn't dedicate the time. I was trying to get my career going. I was trying to do something with that, so I couldn't be like, okay, I'm going to do ring crew, which means missing a day of work because I worked, second shift, so I worked,
Right.
from 2 to sometimes midnight.
Yep.
I couldn't go to all the shows. I couldn't do all, the extra ring crew after, and I couldn't even get to practice half the time because of my second shift.
Right.
So that was really tough. So I ended up, eventually, once Steve died, I was like, I'm just going to quit. And I just quit wrestling. You know?
Really?
So in like 2008 or whatever, right after he died, I quit wrestling.
Right.
And I got a really great job, and I worked there for a year, and there was like a void, and I couldn't have my last match be against some trash bag named what's his name? Oh, I'll bury everyone, Leo. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Bury
It
everyone.
was
That's what you
I
wanted
think his
to.
name was Cemetery Stalker. I couldn't even get the words out.
Well, I've never even heard of that.
Well, no one has. That's the thing, Leo. So no one's ever heard of him. And it was just this horrible match. I'm censoring myself a lot. And I just thought, I was like, I can't let that be my last.
Right.
I can't. And then I decided to come back.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Now, who was your first match with? We found out who your last match with WFA was, but who was your first match with?
That actually wasn't with WFA. It was some
Oh.
random place in Everett. Thankfully, it doesn't run anymore. My first match was with this kid that I went to wrestling school with. He was my friend, and we showed up together. That we started together, and his name was what did we call him? I think it was his first match as well. He went by Dastardly Durant. His name is George Durant.
Right.
And so Steve made him be called Dastardly Durant. And unfortunately, my name was Scott Dizzle because he's just like, you're just two goofs. Just go out there, have a match, whatever. We were both 5 months in, or I think he was maybe a month ahead of me or something like that. And it was just, we were able to get through the match, just barely able to get through the match. Thankfully, it ended up being like a schmoz where someone ran in and beat us both up.
Right.
Just it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Not saying it was great, but
Right.
it could have been worse.
Now, going into, you've seen it was both your first matches. Like, did you have any confidence in, like, maybe the referee? Was the referee a veteran guy at the time that could have helped you guys, maybe?
I couldn't tell you who the referee
Really?
was. I had no confidence going in.
Really?
I had no confidence at all. Like,
Right.
just I was young. I think I had just turned 17. I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a kid who liked wrestling, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely not like, the coolest kid in school or
Right.
anything like that. So I had no confidence, no anything, and I just went in there and we practiced it too many times, and we were able to get through.
Nice. All right. This is from Sonny. How many times, you told me already off here, but how many times do you estimate you slept on Sonny's couch? And I got to add this part. Does Betty like you?
Oh, Betty
She must
loves
have.
me.
You seem like a nice
She
guy.
loves me, but as anyone who knows me, generally when you first meet me, you hate me. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm abrasive. I'm extremely abrasive. So Betty sometimes likes me, sometimes hates me. Depends on what I say or when I say it.
Right.
But I've probably slept on his couch. He may be overestimating. It was probably a dozen times
Right.
total. But I just didn't want to like drive another hour after driving like 4 hours,
Right.
and I slept in his basement. It's not like it was even his regular couch. I slept on the couch in his basement.
Good old Sonny. Now, so Ryan Drew, though, Betty didn't really like him, huh? Were you there the night that he...
I wasn't there that night, but I've heard about it. Yeah, I've definitely heard about it.
Very funny. Any memories of working with Chunky but Funky in a church hall for Bob Evans, or even any more like any
I assume
memories with Bob?
this is fed by Sonny Goodspeed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He helped me out a lot
So,
with this.
so quickly, yeah, I went down. I worked for Bob, and I got to put in there with Sonny Goodspeed and DJ Dancing Dave Barron.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if Dave Barron had never wrestled before. So, we got in there, and we were wrestling around just some chain, and they didn't call anything. We didn't call anything. I think just the finish, and I went behind him and I went to give him like a nice back suplex, you know?
Yep.
And it's like he had never even seen it before. He just
Dead weight.
Yeah, dead weight,
Yeah.
feet on the ground. I gave him a back suplex, almost tore out every muscle in my back. And he looks up at Sonny, goes, "I think this kid's shooting on me," and tagged
That
out.
was you, because Sonny has told that story in here about Dave, thinking
Yeah.
that someone was shooting on him.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he did it in every match.
Probably, yeah. Maybe that's true. That's awesome. All right, how did you get into Chikara?
All right, so I came back, like I said, in around 2010. I
Yep.
started wrestling around New England. I like that I think that taking a little bit of time off really helped me kind of, mature as a person, and then you mature as a wrestler as well. So you learn how to be in front of a crowd just from taking that time off. Your mind gets really clouded when you're wrestling a lot,
Right.
and when you get that time off, you can really focus on what you want to show the crowd. So that time off helped me, and I came back and I started doing some things down at EWA for Dr. Heresy at
Yep.
the time, and thankfully he was nice enough to give me a shot there,
Right.
which I was just kind of showing up and helping out, which
Yep.
I'm sure my students would be tired of hearing, and Brian's students obviously tired of hearing. Just show up and help out. If you just show up
Right.
at shows with your gear, you'll eventually get on.
Yeah,
And
sure.
obviously Sonny was there to put in a good word for me. And I met Joey Eastman, and Joey Eastman helped me out a lot. And I started wrestling around New England a lot.
Right.
And Joey Eastman, God bless him, took me out to Chicago and just got me on a few shows. And I can't tell you how much I owe to those guys,
Right.
for me coming back, them taking a liking to me and helping me get out there. And so I went out to Chicago. It's a very far drive. Come back here, and, working in different places. And Joey's like, "Get a tape together. We're going to Chikara." So back when I wasn't married, didn't have a kid,
Right.
and I could just get up and go anywhere. So I had to figure out how to rip a video off YouTube back in late 2010, 2011, something like that.
Yep.
It wasn't easy. Now you can do it super easy.
Yeah, wicked easy.
So I put it onto a DVD, which I had to go out, buy DVDs to burn it onto, and I brought it and I gave it to the promoter, Mike Quackenbush.
Yep.
He took it, looked at it, and threw it in his bag, and I was like, well, I guess that's the end of that.
Right.
So I kept hounding Joey, and I just kept hounding. I was like, just ask him, even if he had just watched it.
Right.
If he had just watched it and could give me some critiques.
Yep.
Anything, just anything.
Especially Quack. I mean, he's a hell of a
He's
wrestler.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. So Joey kept pounding him, and he goes, "Joey, I've never booked anyone sight unseen ever in my career.
Right.
But I will take your word and I will give him a shot." So
Nice.
once again, Joey Eastman, if it wasn't for him,
Right.
I probably wouldn't have made it. And this goes back to the lost puppy kind of story. It's
Right.
like, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Steve never taught us to go out and just show up at shows with our gear.
Right, because he was running so
He was
much.
running
He
so
wanted
much.
you guys to
Yeah, and
work for him.
And I'm not talking down about it.
Right,
It's just
right.
that we worked there.
Yep.
and that's where we worked.
Right.
Obviously, some people went out and got booked elsewhere, but I just didn't know that.
Right.
I was so young. When I left Steve's, I was probably 18, 19, you know.
Wow. That is young.
When I last saw him, I was probably 19 years old, I think.
Wow.
Right? So it's like, I didn't know, and I obviously didn't know enough to ask, because being young means you're dumb. So, yeah, I just didn't know what to do at that point, and Sonny and Joey really took me out and helped me, really helped me. And I always call Sonny my wrestling dad.
There you go,
yeah. Sonny's my wrestling dad. He took me under his wing and he showed me more and how to do certain things in wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Can you tell me how the road trip to West Allis, Wisconsin, and Chicago was? Sonny kind of told the story.
Yeah, that's kind of. That's a long story.
Yeah.
A very long story. It was enlightening. That's the one. That's where Joey took Sonny and I out to, Sonny, Billy Wolf, who wrestled as Shane Sharp for a while in New England. He took us out there, and me and Billy Wolf were able to we were young, and he just got us on shows. And Dave Barron was getting divorced, and we convinced him to take his wife's brand new minivan and drive it to Wisconsin, and we just destroyed that poor minivan. Yeah, I remember at one point driving at 3 a.m. in the morning, and Billy Wolf's driving, and I'm asleep, and I just hear this big thud, and as I wake up, I just see pieces and stuff flying off the front end of the car, and I look over at Billy Wolf. I go, what just happened? And he says, it was a raccoon. Didn't stand a chance, and we eventually stopped, and no one else woke up. It was just me, and we stopped at a rest stop, and I come around the front, and the whole front panel's dinged up, and there's a piece where the fog light should go. They have a cover that's completely torn out, and we just never mentioned it.
Wow.
Just never mentioned it, and never heard about it again. I'm sure we'll hear about it now that I've...
Right. That's hilarious.
But there's a lot more to that story. I don't know if we can talk about it on public access TV.
I know Sonny told me Seth Rollins was on one of those shows.
Oh,
on that trip.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
So was Punk on those shows too? Probably not, right? Because he must have been
So the West Allis building, I'm not sure if you're familiar with, a few weeks ago, Punk ran in and did a thing.
Yeah.
That's the same building.
Oh, okay.
So we wrestled there. And then we went to AAW, which is a very big promotion now. We went there the next night, and we had a pre-show match.
Okay.
And, we were just keeping quiet, just being nice guys, trying to do, shake hands.
Yep.
When we walked in, we saw, I knew who Tyler Black was, and it was Seth Rollins, and shook his hand. He was so cold to us.
Was he really?
Just said his name and just kind of looked the other way, which I totally understand. He's met a million people.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to have to shake our hands, and if I'm a fan or a Mark or something, I just want to have a conversation with him. He doesn't want that. It was his last night there before he went to WWE, and so we had our match, and we had worked together so many times at that point.
Right.
Just so smooth. It was a 3-minute match. We just gave him all the hot stuff we could, and didn't overshine anything. Told a good little story. Very simple.
Right.
But the crowd was into it by the end. That's all that matters. They were ready for the show. And we came back, and he came up to us. We didn't ask. We didn't, bother him. We didn't go up beforehand and be like, "Hey, brother, you mind watching my match?" or anything like that. No, he came back, and he's like, "Hey, guys, I watched your match. I thought it was great. Here's some critiques, this and this and that." And he's like, thanks for having a good one. And he was so unbelievably nice.
Wow.
Yeah. And from then on, it was nicest guy in the world.
Right.
Really, because he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But he did. And he had a 30-minute Broadway later that night, that he had to worry about, but he watched our match without us asking.
Yeah,
so he's
that's
cool.
That's awesome. And I guarantee a Punk wouldn't have been that nice.
Never met him. So.
You're lucky. You're lucky. He ain't the nicest guy, that's for sure. All right, you already mentioned your last match for Steve. What about your last match in general?
All right. So my last match in general was with Mike Quackenbush.
Oh, nice.
Yes. It was, so I debuted. I had my first match on November 19th, 2004.
Yeah.
And I had my last match on November 18th, 2017.
Oh, wow.
So it was a pretty cool little kind
Yeah.
of bookend. And I had it with Mike Quackenbush. He had told a very long story in Chikara. If anyone knows anything about Chikara, mainly they'll go, "Oh, it's all haha," but really it's not.
No, it's not. Definitely not.
It's all long, long tied, crazy storylines that
Yeah.
are extremely intricate,
Yeah.
more intricate than any storylines in professional wrestling.
Right.
And we weaved this very long storyline where I was a bad guy. I kind of killed off my entire team. Killed off, but I just dumped them on their heads and sent them on their merry way.
Right.
And then I started attacking people. I attacked him while he had some back surgery and he was using a cane. So I attacked him, and I got fired. And then I came back, and there's this very long storyline. So we built it up, and it went over about 2-year period
Oh, wow.
of where we had this storyline to where then eventually I called him out, and he finally accepted a match,
Right.
and that was my last match.
Okay. What caused you to stop wrestling? Injuries?
I have a heart condition. So
Okay. Yep.
in March 2017, I was getting ready to have a match with Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, wow.
Down WrestleMania weekend.
Yep. And that was that for Chikara?
That was for
would have been-
Chikara.
yeah, okay.
It was for Chikara, yep. So I was going to have a match with Zack Sabre Jr. and something was wrong. Like I felt some weird pitter patter of my
Right.
heartbeat, and it'd been going on for a little while. And I actually had wrestled with it. I wrestled a championship match with Ultra Mantis, and I did it, and it was a very weird feeling. So
Right.
my heart would beat, and then it would beat, beat.
Wow.
So it would take this long pause, and then it
Yeah.
would beat erratically. So I went and went to the doctor, and I got diagnosed with AFib. So what it is one of my ventricles in my heart doesn't beat, and blood pools in my heart, and it can form a clot. Well, I had let it go long enough that there was a clot in my heart. So if I had just put it off and had wrestled that
Right.
weekend,
Who knows what happened?
I probably would have had a stroke. They told me most likely would have had a stroke.
No kidding.
Yeah. So maybe it's time to hang them up a little bit.
Right.
So,
Did you end up having any surgery about it or anything? Or did
So
they give
I've-
you some medicine for to thin your blood? Or
yeah, I got a blood thinner. Took care of that.
Should be a doctor.
Took care of the blood clot, and then I've had 2 procedures where basically I've gone in and out of
Yep.
AFib. So the first time, the paddles.
Yeah.
And they zap you. So I've had that happen twice.
Now, how's your health now? Good.
I'm good now. I'm out of
Good to
AFib.
hear.
I'm on the new medication. My doctor's the head of cardiology at Mass General, so I'm kind of good. He's taking good care of me. But
And Boston has such great doctors. My
Amazing.
mom had a heart problem when she was in her late 50s, early 60s, and she went to Boston, and
Yeah.
man, she's still kicking.
Yeah.
And she's still
Yeah.
got that. What am I looking for?
Spunk.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you very much. She is. It's unbelievable. It's like she never even had the problem, honestly. So,
So my plan is though to get, because if I get in good enough shape and I'm
Right.
taking care of my heart and eating right, I can't drink alcohol. I can't have caffeine. I can't have a lot of salt. I can't have any tobacco products. Anything that raises your heart rate
Right.
unnaturally, other than exercise, I cannot have. So I've had to cut all that out.
yeah.
So it's been tough, because imagine going to the doctor and hey, everything that you like,
Yeah,
you
you're
can't
all
do
done.
anymore, especially that wrestling thing.
Right.
The thing you've always wanted to do,
Yeah, that sucks.
And you were just about to have the biggest match of your career.
Right.
Well, it's gone. So,
Wow.
but I'm super grateful that I get to train,
Right.
the next kind of group of.
Yeah. Now, I just thought I read something. Are you going to helping out at Chikara now, too, with the Wrestle Factory?
I did. I went
Okay.
down. What was I? Knock over this class. 2 weeks ago, I took part in their masterclass weekend.
Nice.
So that is a 2-day, 9-seminar event. So people pay, I think it was relatively cheap, $189.
Yep.
That includes your dinner, and then you get 9 seminars.
Oh, nice.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Right.
And it's down at their Wrestle Factory in Philly, and I had a great little seminar and learned some other things from other people.
Nice. They had a caterer down there?
They didn't have a caterer.
I was going to say quack, man.
They took us out.
They took you out?
Yeah.
Nice.
Leo, if they wanted a caterer, they'd just come to me.
That's true too. If we do have time, I want to bring up something too.
Let's get
about
through all
that.
of Sonny's questions.
Yes. All right. So, did you ever get an opportunity to be seen by WWE?
No. So I was really working towards it in about 2014, 2015. I had lost
Right.
around 60 pounds. I was in really good shape.
Right.
And I was just too nervous. And that's one of the things I tell my students is take the opportunity now.
Yeah.
If you have the chance, because you never know when that last match is going to be.
That's right.
You never know when the day will come where you're told you can't do this anymore,
Right.
or your body,
Yep.
betrays you and tells you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So don't be scared. Put your name out there. Put your
Right.
face out there. Try. At least try.
Right.
Because you don't want to be, told you can't do it and then look back and say, hey, I regret this.
Right.
I regret not
And like
doing
you
that.
said, no matter, even if they're a couple years in, look at guys like Kofi, Sasha. They were in and out, man. They were
Yeah.
in New England Indies and gone before you even knew it.
Yeah.
Both of them, All right. Zachary. No, that's all right. We're going to get fan questions in a minute. Sorry. When did you start helping out at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy?
So after I had my first procedure, sorry, I'm crazy with dates.
That's
I just
all right.
remember dates. So it was May 10th, 2017. I had my procedure and I went back to the school just to help out.
Yep.
Because I wanted to be near a ring,
Right.
Helping out. Brian saw I was coming consistently. I had always said, hey, I'd love to do something. I'd love to help. And he eventually came to me and said, I want you to be one of my Wednesday guys because he's going to start opening on Wednesdays.
Right.
So me and Chase Del Monte run Wednesday classes. So that started in the beginning of August of 2017. So coming up on 3 years.
Nice. Now,
Or 2 years, excuse me.
now, see, with you two, like doing the Wednesday classes, do you both swap off? Like, do you still do like a beginner's
Wednesday
ring?
class, we like to do like we almost call it like intermediate class.
Okay.
So we get everyone in there together, and I think that really helps the newer guys.
Right.
Getting in there and having the ability to work with the more advanced guys, and then the more advanced guys need to work with the younger people to see how pull them
Right.
along, carry them along. That's a big part of professional wrestling because no one's ever going to have the exact, I've done the exact same thing you have in the ring, right? Everyone has different, grades to them. So
Nice. What's your favorite thing about training?
I like seeing I know they're New England Pro Wrestling Academy students, but I do call them, my students because
Right.
I care for them. I want to see them succeed.
Totally understand.
So 2 of my students just had a chance on a New England Pro Wrestling, a Chaotic Wrestling show this
nice.
past Friday, and there's 2 kids that I've seen, pretty much since day one,
Right.
come up and be able to do something,
Nice.
and I like to see their progression when they start and
Right.
they just can't get something down,
Yep.
and then eventually, okay, it's starting to click. You see it start to click. You see
Right.
their body control, their movement, their confidence
Yep.
start to come out in them. That's really important.
Nice. It's funny because the last Chaotic show I went to was two shows ago, and the most entertaining thing on the night, it wasn't even like a match. It was a match, but it was Brett Domino versus CJ Cruz with the Platinum Honeys as special guest referee. Now, the match wasn't the best match, but it absolutely was the most entertaining thing on the show. I don't know if you...
I'll put over CJ Cruz.
He did a good job. You're not going to put over Domino?
I will absolutely put
All
him
right.
over.
Good.
I call him Mortar.
Yep.
I'll always call him Mortar. I gave him that nickname. I think he's one of those people. He came to the school. He stopped coming after he hurt his knee. He came back like 2 years later or something like that, and he just was more focused. Like I said, you get that little time away. You come back and you're fresh. And he came back and he just was picking it up really smooth, and he looks very natural in the ring, and he's a super smart kid.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy to see him start getting opportunities and chances. Now I know he's going to watch this, so why don't you get in shape? Just get in shape. That's all I'm telling you. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Get in shape and try. Thanks.
Did you end up hearing about that match? How when Domino was the heel, when he went down to get the pin, the girls would hold hands and go down to the mat together to do the count. And, they get the 1, 2, and you could see they were going to get the 3, but after 2, they were like, Miguel, and showing. I mean, literally, it was the funniest thing. And like I said, it was the most entertaining.
Yeah.
The match of the night was Christian's match.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was absolutely the most entertaining thing on the show.
Good. I'm sure I'll be talking about it. So.
All right, in 2014, you with Destruction Inc. won the King of Trios tournament.
Yes. Devastation Corporation.
That's right. It's not Incorporation.
No.
Okay, sorry about that.
That'd be WCCW.
Oh, yeah.
So
I remember that too. Okay.
Devastation Corporation. Yeah, we won the 2014 King of Trios.
Nice.
And that was a pretty big moment because I had seen Chikara and I had seen 2011 King of Trios. And I was like, wow, I want to work there. And that's a real magical show. Like,
yeah.
You get El Generico, who's Sami Zayn on WWE TV, versus the 1-2-3 Kid, who wasn't just Sean Waltman. He was the 1-2-3 Kid.
Yeah.
Shaved his beard, had 1-2-3 Kid gear. It was unbelievable, and they had a great match.
Yeah.
And then that tournament was wonderful. It had a great progression. It was great, and I was like, this is magical. This is what I want from wrestling.
Right.
Like I love storylines. I love wild characters, right? Because I'm so tired of watching generic wrestler A versus generic wrestler B, who just two tough guys.
Yeah,
like,
and that's not Chikara at all.
No. Why does everyone have to be a tough guy?
Exactly.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So I watched that and I was like, this is great. And I was like, I want to just wrestle at King of Trios. Was my goal.
That was the goal.
I debuted at King of Trios 2012.
Okay.
There wasn't one in 2013. In 2014, I won it. So
Nice.
it was a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah. And then the next year, you guys were in the finals, correct?
Semifinals.
Semifinals.
So a funny story about that.
Yeah.
Right after that, we won the tag team championships, which was a very big deal.
Was it a Freebird rule, or was it just you and
No
Flex?
Freebird rule. Me and Blaster.
Oh, Blaster.
So
Okay.
Max and Blaster. Yes. Flex was part of the trio for King of Trios.
Yes.
So no Freebird rule. So having those titles was great because every championship match is a 2 out of 3 falls.
Right.
And to contend for the championships, it's not just random. Everyone can contend.
Right.
You must win 3 matches in a row. So there's always something. So you have to build momentum, and then you have to beat the champions twice to get those belts. So it makes the matches mean so much more when you put a little bit of stank on it. So that was really great. Then the next year we go, and we were gonna go back to back.
Yeah,
that's what our thing was.
I was reading the results.
We were gonna go back to back. Like that's what our thing was.
Right.
And we ended up, winning our first 2 matches, and our third match was against Team AAA, which. I can't really complain because I get to wrestle, Phoenix, Aerostar, and
Drago.
Yeah, Drago, and it's just like those guys are awesome. And we had 8 minutes, and we went hot. Just tore the house down.
That must have been awesome.
It was a great match, and I'll put myself over. It was a great match. It was probably my favorite, sub 10-minute match in my entire career. Just those guys are so talented and so on point. And for me, I speak basic, Spanish. I can get through a basic conversation.
I'm Puerto Rican and I can't even speak Spanish.
And Phoenix is the only one who could speak basic English. The other 2, no English at all. So him and I put together this match, in a universal language of wrestling. And we went out there and we just tore it up.
That's awesome.
And we had to have 2 other guys on each side of us who didn't speak the other language completely understand it. It was just a real kind of special moment. I felt like a wrestler. You know what I mean? I felt like a real wrestler.
Were you on the Chikara show when they came into Nashville?
I wasn't. That was far before me. I think that was like 2010.
That was the night that they gave Jeff Costa. They gave him like an award or whatever.
Yes.
Now, were you there with Sonny watching the show?
No, that was right before I came back.
Okay.
So that was 2010. It was earlier in 2010.
Right.
And I hadn't come back to wrestling yet.
Okay. All right, so let's move into the fan questions. We'll probably bounce back into your career and stuff. But first question is from Matt Loudon.
Matt Loudon.
Yep. How fun was it working as a Metro Man for Steve Bradley?
A gimmick that would not stand or last in 2019, but a very fun gimmick. We were just a couple of guys who liked chicks.
Yeah.
We just loved chicks, and it was just an absolute blast to work with Mike Bennett, who's my tag team partner.
Okay, yep.
The Ray, who is he doesn't wrestle anymore, but he was a Metro Man. Those are the two that we would we'd all switch off and be wrestle as the Metro Man. It was just a blast, and working with you remember Mighty Minnie and Andre Lyons.
Yeah, they're on the name game. So
okay.
Those are two. Honestly and truthfully, those are two of my favorite New England wrestlers of all time. I literally love those guys.
Did you go to any WFA shows?
Just two, and I was an idiot because I should have went to a lot more.
I think you would have loved it.
I definitely would have loved it.
I wish the footage was out. I know who has the footage, but we can't get her to release it. Kathy Belmont.
Come on. Come on, Kathy.
So yeah, I think that was a lot of fun. That was a good.
Right.
I mean, that was my first thing. So I always tell my students is like, hey, you turned up to 11. That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Turned up to 11.
Right.
Well, sometimes you don't want to see that person turned up to 11.
Yeah.
You don't even like them at 5. Why would you like them at 11? So be someone else.
Right.
Take yourself out of your character, because when you're in someone else's skin in a character, then you don't have to worry about anyone saying, "Oh, you look like a goof." Be like, that's just the character.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of Chikara is. It's
right.
A lot of insecure people can do amazing things when they don't have to be themselves.
Right. And what I love about Chikara, just it's like a comic book in a way.
It is.
With the masks. And, I mean, literally, it's pretty awesome. All right, Mav wants to know, because everybody else wasn't given legit questions.
I know.
So, okay, I'll ask a legit question, Mav says. You recently began doing legitimate cooking tips under your real name.
Yes.
Do you feel that breaking the fourth wall in this manner damages you as a wrestler, a chef, both, or neither?
I'm going to say neither.
Okay.
So my real name is who I am.
Right.
I am Scott Guerin.
Yeah.
I don't care. I am Scott Guerin. That's my name. That's what I was born as. That's what my family knows me as. That's how
I hope they do.
Yeah, that's how everyone knows me as.
Right.
My career is my career.
Right.
Just because my career decides, I'm not producing these in my basement. This is my job, is to produce content for the internet. I won't say where I work because I'm a private person.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the skin of my character, I'm not Max Smashmaster.
Right.
I'm Scott Guerin.
Okay.
Right? So when I'm in the skin of my character, that person, they're not the same.
Right.
So when that character's on Twitter or that character's on their Facebook, because they're not the same thing.
Yep.
I always say, "Oh, that's my fatter, uglier brother," right? It's just my character.
Right.
Right. So they don't coexist to me. Just because this one's a wrestler and this one's a chef, right, doesn't mean that Max Smashmaster's a chef.
Right.
Okay, because he's a character.
Yep.
He's a character that was transported here accidentally from the 1980s, and he has no idea why he's here, but he's here. That's literally how my character came to be. He's not, me who puts on face paint and becomes a wrestler.
Right.
So they don't go the same. Now, if I was posting those, my work videos on my Max Smashmaster page, then yes, that's really breaking the fourth wall.
Yep.
But I keep them all separate. They're completely separated.
Nice. Thanks, Mav. El Jabroni, what happened to your tag team partners? You had said
I have numerous tag team partners. I assume they're asking about
Devastation
Blaster.
Corporation.
Yeah, Devastation Corporation. Yes.
With Flex and Blaster.
Yeah, so Flex
and Joey. Sydney. Sorry.
They're brothers.
Oh, they are?
Well,
I didn't know that. Okay, I had no idea. All
or
right.
at least they know of each other.
Right.
So yeah, Flex Rumble Crunch, and Blaster McMassive. Blaster McMassive disappeared off the face of the earth, but I have seen someone named Thomas Sharp pop up here and there. And then Flex Rumble Crunch went to Evolve with that Thomas Sharp fellow, and he ended up getting too many concussions, and now he can't wrestle. So, and plus, I gave them both tombstone pile drivers. So,
there you go. Did you get on Sydney too?
No, me and Sydney, we were good till the end, and then he started slapping me around after my match, so I had to give him one good bean.
Oh, yeah. He's the one that at the Top Rope show gave away the ending to
the Endgame.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
What's that? Infinity Wars?
Endgame.
Yeah. All right. Tim Sinat wants to know, if you're able to one day make a full comeback, who would you like to face that you haven't had the opportunity to share the ring with? Which is good because as you train guys, so I mean, you definitely are still in the loop of who's hot and who's not.
All right. So if I ever came back, it wouldn't be a full comeback.
Okay.
That's what I've always kind of told myself and my wife.
Right.
Because I
Boss.
don't think I could. Yeah. I don't think I ever possibly could because to prevent my AFib from coming back. But if I were to ever come back able to be cleared to have matches, I think I would definitely want to, number one, try to wrestle Blaster McMassive. We had always wanted to wrestle each other. We didn't get the chance.
You know, without going to his name, he's a local guy too.
No, he's from Philly.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
He's from Philly. So I always wanted to wrestle him. I always wanted to wrestle Flex Rumble Crunch, who is a local guy.
Yes.
So the two of them are big on my list. Obviously, there's a million other people in the world.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
If it was a dream match, I'd want to wrestle Tomohiro Ishii from
Right.
New Japan because
Right.
we just punch each other in the head. What was the second part of that question?
That you haven't had the opportunity to share the ring
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
So.
I haven't had an opportunity to wrestle them one-on-one. So.
Okay, great. Dan Bolio wants to know, did you ever wrestle, on a scale of 1 to 10, how entertaining do you think he is? He's talking
Oh, he's talking about
Los Ice Cream.
Ice Cream Jr.
Yeah, that who that was.
So I'm
Junior?
not sure if this is if this question is kind of a snide remark, but
I don't think-
Ice
I don't-
Cream Jr. is a absolutely one of the most entertaining
Yes.
wrestlers.
He actually
ever.
saw them wrestle and he flipped
Oh,
out.
okay.
I
He
wasn't
loved
there.
them.
Oh, he loved them.
Some people see it and they go, "This
No,
is silly."
no, he
he
loved
loved them.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
great, absolutely entertaining. I'm sure. Yeah, I've wrestled them numerous times.
Right, because I've seen
So,
them too, and they are
Yeah,
awesome.
They're a fantastic duo who don't get the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
Just at all in wrestling. So
Right.
yeah, they're a great team.
Now, off of Chikara, Wrestling is Art is another little one, right? And
Yeah,
also,
there's about 7
okay,
wrestling
'cause
is that
they
were
came
around.
to Haverhill a couple
Yes,
times. and I
those were
went to-
shows I promoted.
Oh, you did?
So-
I went to both of them. They
You-
were awesome.
You like those ones
oh,
in
I
Haverhill,
loved
right?
them. Loved them. Colt was on them.
Colt was on them. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, he was. So I was given the ability to poster and do all the
Right.
promoting for those shows, and they ended up being the most successful wrestling is shows.
There was a good amount of people.
There was a good
Both
amount
times.
of people, right?
Yeah.
So I was very happy about that.
Right.
All the Haverhill shows that Chikara put on, I promoted.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, the social media and whatnot came from the Wrestling Is corporations
Right,
or anything
right.
like that, and the Chikara stuff. But I was out there doing the groundwork by myself for those. So I was
Nice.
very happy when those went over. And there's only been one show ever that is run without Mike Quackenbush being there.
Really?
And that was Wrestling Is Fun in Haverhill. The last Wrestling Is Fun
nice.
show ever. It was in
He had
Haverhill.
nothing to do with it.
Wasn't there.
Wow.
It was me.
Nice.
So I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
So I have run a show, thankfully with someone else's money.
Right. Well, it's funny because I said I went to the two of the shows in Haverhill, and there was a guy like a goblin. He
Cobalt.
Came, yeah.
Yes,
well,
he's
he
a
came
poop
out. He
goblin.
grabbed a bunch of people's hats.
Yeah.
And as he came, I was with my grandson and his little friend. They were like in kindergarten, and he takes them and throws the hats that he took from these people over their heads, and said, go get them or something like that. The kids went and got the hats. And he came right up behind them as soon as they turned around. I thought they were going to pull me to the ground. Each kid had my leg. They were so scared. And then the other show, I knew Colt was coming out for a match, so we went by like where he comes out, because my grandson likes Colt too, to give him a high five. Colt scooped them up.
Oh, yeah.
Walked down, brought him to some other girl, and yelled to my grandson, "Meet your new mother." It was hilarious. I didn't expect him to do that. We were only going over there to get a high five.
Yeah.
He scooped them right up. Hilarious.
Yeah, that's just the personal interaction that you
Yeah.
get. Because sometimes when the barriers are nice,
Right.
but you can't have that engaging
Right.
interaction. And that's,
Actually, one of the shows, they did let everybody come up to the ring.
they
That
always
was
do the
awesome.
heartbeat before
I have
the main
some
event.
really good pictures from that.
Yeah.
Not of the wrestlers, just
Yeah.
my daughter and my grandson. Nice. All right. This is coming from Zachary Mo Johnson. I don't know.
I don't know him
You posted
either.
it on your page.
I put it on my
Yeah.
Max Smashmaster Facebook and Twitter. So
Now, you already answered this anyway, so we'll go to this. I'll say the first part, but you can
Yeah.
answer the second part. Who was your favorite wrestler growing up? You already
oh yeah,
said who they were.
there's a million of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And what would you do if you were asked up to WWE?
What would I do?
I don't know.
What would I do if WWE was just like, hey,
Eat their catering?
yeah, come, I would eat their catering.
Yeah.
I would absolutely eat their catering. I'd kick down the door to Vince's office and be like, hey,
Right?
it's me. And then he'd probably kick me out or something like that. But yeah, I don't know what I would do if I was just asked up to WWE.
Yeah,
I'd probably do whatever they told me to keep a
Right.
job for as long as possible.
Nice. Zachary, thanks for the question. Definitely it caught me off guard too when I was writing it down. Drew Blanton also posted this question on what you shared of mine. What have you learned from being a coach or a trainer that you never thought about when you were actively wrestling?
I saw that question and I put a little bit of thought into it. Granted, I just came from work, so I didn't have too much time to think about it. But it's tough. You need to learn to have patience.
Right.
And in wrestling, a lot of us don't have patience. But these people are learning, and that's
Yep.
one of the things. People will get really nervous and scared. And it's like, you're learning. This
Yep.
is a school. You are
Right.
learning, and we're trying to teach you. Granted, then it's on their part to
Yep.
remember the things we tell them. So it's a lot of not getting frustrated if they don't get it the first time around.
Right.
Understand that they're learning,
Yeah.
and then allow them to learn. Or maybe you have to teach it in a different way.
Yep.
Some people don't get things if you just say it to them.
Right.
You must show them. If you
Yes.
don't show it to them, make them write it down. There's a lot of different ways to learn.
Okay. Yeah, because like with that question too, as you have to tell a lot of the guys slow down. I would imagine because
slow down is the number one critique
Yeah.
in all pro wrestling. But slow
Right.
down doesn't just mean go slower. It
Right.
means be in the moment rather than being 10 steps ahead.
Okay. Nice. And Sonny's got another question. Can you tell us about your travel overseas with Chikara?
Yeah, that was an amazing thing because I initially wasn't going to go. And then I was the tag champion, so I kind of had to go because
Right.
they wanted the belts defended in a different country,
Yep.
which makes me a world tag team champion.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, of course. So it was great. One of the best times of my life because I was able to drive drove to the airport, get on a plane, go to Philly, get on another plane, go over to England, and then when I'm there, we had a tour bus. We went around, we went to Wolverhampton 2 nights. We went to Cardiff, Wales 1 night, and then we went to London, and we wrestled in London. Hotels, the nines, we were just taking care of the entire time. People were so excited to see us. People knew who we were, which
Right.
was unbelievable. Packed houses every night, 300, 400, 500 people. Even in Cardiff, Wales, we wrestled in a temple, or it was very odd, like
Right.
Masonic church or so. The place was unbelievable. It was just like the coolest kind of experience.
Nice.
And I got to wrestle in a different country.
Yeah.
And I like to say these things is like, I got to wrestle in a different country. I got to defend a tag team championship, which I always wanted to be a tag team champion when I was a kid.
Right.
I got to wrestle in the ECW arena. And even if I never got to WWE
Right.
or wasn't called up to WWE, I could still look back at the 8-year-old me who was a kid who wanted to be a wrestler and be like,
Right.
hey, you did these things.
Yeah.
And that's a really good feeling now knowing I can't ever
Right.
there's nothing more for me
Yeah.
beyond that threshold,
Now this is cool because, like you said, world champion. Once you take that title and you're in
Yeah.
another country, that definitely becomes a world
Yeah,
title.
there's no double continent
Right,
champion.
right.
There's world champion
That's
or
right.
just champion.
Now, was it just Devastation Corporation that went over, or was there more people that went, like,
There was.
Quack and all them go too?
So I ended up wrestling 5 or 6 matches in 4 days.
Okay.
But it was the whole Chikara tour. They brought Chikara over as
okay.
a whole
Yeah.
to have 4 or 5 shows.
Nice.
And in conjunction with Fight Club Pro. So Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, we wrestled one night.
Right.
Just an amazing amount of people who then took off right after
Yeah.
that. So it was super cool to be like, oh, we had these matches, amazing matches with these
Yep.
guys that almost no one had ever heard about. And then they're just going on to wild things, just crazy.
Those guys are great. And I know you, in the King of Trios, you had wrestled. Pete Dunne was on the team too.
Yeah, right? Isn't that?
Guy's amazing.
He is amazing.
And he's a short guy,
Yeah.
Wow, so talented.
Yeah, very talented.
All right, listen, we're going to bang out these last few questions so that we can get some near the name game. We got 7.
What want to just go to the name game,
All right,
or do
yeah.
we have to get through all these
No,
questions?
I mean, I just feel bad if I don't ask anybody's question, but you know something?
I'll answer them online.
There you go.
I'll
All right.
answer them
See
on
that,
my-
guys? You'll get it.
At
All right.
Max Smashmaster on Twitter.
Do you want me to show you the list and you could pick a name you want yourself?
No,
All
I
right,
want you
okay.
to go through them. Are we doing one word, or what are we?
Anything you want to say about him.
All right,
Story, one
all
word,
right.
whatever.
Here we go.
How about Eddie Edwards?
One of the nicest guys. Haven't talked to him in years, but super talented. He was super talented back then, and
Right.
he's even more talented now.
Okay. Did you meet DC? Did you ever wrestle with
I
DC?
did. I maybe wrestled with DC once, but it was probably Battle Royal. Nothing
Right.
too crazy. He was a nice guy. He was always good to me.
Man, what a heel, though, too. I always
Yeah.
say that because he really was, man. He was probably one of the greatest independent New England heels ever.
Yeah.
All right. Sean Gorman.
I never had too many interactions with
Okay.
Sean Gorman.
How about my buddy George Carroll?
And I know George.
Okay.
We were never like where I was. I was kind of secluded with Steve.
Right.
Then I was around New England for a little bit, and then I was secluded with Chikara.
Yeah.
So I never had too many interactions. I mean, I know George. We're on a first name basis, but
Right.
I don't think we're.
Okay. Brian Fury.
At first, me and Brian Fury did not get along,
Oh,
like
wow.
oil and water.
Yep.
And then now we get along great. Obviously, I'm one of the trainers at his
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
so I guess we're doing good. But yeah, no, Brian, he has a mind for the business like no one else in New England, and
Right.
he really embodies Steve Bradley,
Yeah.
which Steve meant so much to us.
Right.
And it's really amazing to see a school that felt like the school I went to.
Yeah.
And that means so much to me. And I'm sure
Nice.
it does to a lot of the guys there.
How about another trainer down there at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, Julian Starr?
Julian Starr. Funny story about Julian Starr. He'll hate that I'm sharing this. Is that we went to
wow.
high school together, and he was a WFA fan. And as I was in high school, I was having matches on shows.
Right.
So one day he came up to me in the hallway, and he goes, "You're the Shane. You're the Shane." And I was like, "Get away from me, kid."
Yeah.
And that was kind of a cool feeling that
Yeah.
I was being recognized in my own high school.
Nice.
But no, Julian's great. He I wish he would just come back to wrestling and
me
stop
too.
being a pouty face.
See that? And when he came down last year for the Chaotic Content, when he came back for a few minutes, that place popped.
He's unbelievably
huge,
talented.
man. You wouldn't believe, honestly and truthfully, that place popped huge for him.
He's
He'll
still
tell you that.
talented.
Very talented.
You know, it's like,
Size or no size.
Just come
because he
back.
always complains about his size.
Oh, look at me.
But he was fantastic. How about a guy that's probably not going to be around here much longer because he's going to go elsewhere, AG, Anthony Green.
oh, Anthony Green. Love me some Anthony Green. He transformed himself. He knew what he was doing
Yep.
wasn't working, and he changed it, and now it's working.
Yeah.
And he's really going far. And one of the people he messaged that morning before he went to the Evolve show was me, and he's like, "Hey, I have an opportunity. Do you think I should do this, or do you think I should honor a booking that I have?" And I said,
Yeah.
Jabroni Pro isn't going to be, booking you at
Right.
X amount of dollars for the rest of your life. Why don't
That's
you try and go here? And I'm happy he came to me. That means a lot to
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
And I'm
The
definitely
respect.
not sitting here taking credit for what he's
Right.
done. He went there, he did it on his own.
Yep.
But I'm happy he thought so highly of me to ask me my opinion. And he went on and he did a little spot where he grabbed the balloon and
That
he got
was
himself
awesome.
a contract.
Yes. You think that's what got him the contract too? Just
Yes.
like-
Yeah, because it went quick viral. The more you
Yeah.
can go viral, the more people
Right.
are seeing your product, and that's what Gabe Sapolsky wants.
yeah, Gabe. You ever been around Gabe in his in his temper tantrums?
I've never seen his.
I saw a whole bunch of them.
Maybe one. I think I saw one at a Dragon Gate USA show
Yeah.
once. But anytime he was around Chikara, he was fine because he wasn't running the show. So
Right. Nice guy, though. I always go along with Gabe. He
Yeah.
really was
Yep.
a nice guy. How about the Platinum Honeys? Ava Everett and Angel Sinclair.
two of the first students that started right as I started training.
Oh, okay.
Very proud of them.
Should,
working
because
hard.
they really are working
They're
hard.
working hard, and that's all we can ask for
Right.
is train hard and work harder, and that's what they're doing. So.
Right. Someone that I guess she's not training no more too much. Susanna, Julian's girl.
Susanna's sweet, as long as
She's so nice.
if I could
man.
just
love
never
Sue.
see their Twitter, or I'm sorry, their Facebook Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Again, I'd be happy. I usually just hide them because it's like, come on, you're in
Yeah.
high school. It's the most disgusting.
I won't say anything
Yeah.
because you know the better than me.
I love her though. She's such a sweetheart.
She's
but
awesome.
at
She
this
really
point,
is.
it's just a rib.
Right.
It's the worst.
Johnny Vegas.
Me and Johnny Vegas love to trade Lobster Man impressions.
Oh!
And I think Johnny Vegas is a great mind for just the other part. He's good at the wrestling,
Right.
but he's more at the entertainment aspect
Yeah.
of it and showing people, how to emote with their face and use their body language
Yeah.
and all that. And he's really awesome. He's
Very underrated. Like for
So
for
underrated.
fans like me, like if you don't go to chaotic
Yeah.
shows or whatever, if you didn't go to Jeff shows
Yeah.
back in the day, you wouldn't even know who he is. But he is awesome.
Yeah.
And a very nice guy.
Yes.
All right, Killanova, all three of them. Trips, Christian, and Royce.
Christian's one of those people because I've been going to the school periodically,
Right.
like here and there for a long time, and then eventually now I'm a trainer. So I saw Christian probably on his first day, and just this nervous kid, and now he's so confident in the ring. He's so talented. He's
Sure
unbelievably athletic.
Yes.
Trips I've known for a little while. We used to do like the PWF New
Yep.
England stuff together. He was always good there, and he was always super nice to me. And
Yeah.
him and JT had some great matches down there. And Royce Bishop, good
He
kid.
just came back a little while ago, right? Because he had happened with the having kids.
He trained for like 6 or 7 years before he had his first match.
Wow.
Because he was just here and he would
Yeah,
just
yeah.
leave and come back, and I'm so happy that he's on shows now.
What a nice dynamic though when they brought him in.
Yeah.
Because he's bigger than both the
Yeah,
other
he's a big
guys.
heater. Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming back on the show soon too.
Good.
Now I want to say some Chikara names before before the show ends. Eddie Kingston.
He's a good brother.
All right. How about his old tag team partner, Blackjack
I
Marciano?
never met Blackjack. He
All
never
right.
came around.
Jervis Cottonbelly, who I know you wrestle.
I know I wrestled Jervis, and I'd like to punch him in his furry cotton belly again if I ever saw him.
I gotta say, Sidney Bacabella.
It's Dad.
Yeah.
It's my dad.
Yeah?
Yeah, Sydney.
Nice. So you got two dads.
Quick.
Like that show, Sonny and
Yeah,
Sydney.
Sonny and
Yes, that
Sydney.
show.
Sidney Bugabella is just Jeff Costa with a wig on. That's
Yeah.
what the character is.
Good, really good comparison right there. How about Mike Crockett?
Mike Crockett's awesome.
Yes, he
yeah,
is.
He was a great referee.
Yep.
Now he's a dad. I don't know if he's a great dad, but he's a dad.
Well, let's hope he is, at least, All right, Brian Malonis. He says I mention him all the time, but that's because I'm a huge Brian Malonis
I
fan.
love Brian Malonis. And I think we're wrapping it up
Yeah,
here
we
in
are.
about 8 seconds.
Yep, it's all right.
Brian Malonis is great. Good friend of mine.
Nice.
We got to get together soon, Brian.
All right. Listen, I want to thank you for coming on. We could do this again. I can put you, is that cool with you? Come
Of
back
course.
again another time?
Of course.
Max, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, we're out. Peace. I told you.